Bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. Now, Hallie, obviously, Republicans doing their homework right now, trying to figure out how to run against Governor Walz. What are you hearing?
Well, they've done their homework apparently pretty quickly, Lester, because we're already hearing now some reaction from the Trump camp going after Tim Walz for essentially his record, the policies that he put in place, that he backed as a member of Congress and that he put in place as governor of Minnesota, linking him to what they call the Biden-Harris agenda on immigration, on gun legislation, on climate, for example, and describing the newly named now Harris-Walz ticket as a team of radicals. That's a quote now from Team Trump. This is not altogether unexpected, as Peter has laid out. There had been some, what you might call Walz-mentum that had been in play over the course of the last week or so. Some talk about what Tim Walz could bring to the ticket, what he could do for Vice President Kamala Harris, as she is now officially on the top of the ticket on the Democratic side. Keep in mind his policy record. As governor of Minnesota, he, for example, signed some gun safety laws into place in 2023, as Gabe mentioned. On abortion rights, he has been somebody who signed a law that enshrined those in the state of Minnesota. He has been out front on things like universal free school lunch meals as well. These are some of the issues that progressives have really liked from Tim Walz. And that's what makes him so interesting here, Lester, because on the one hand, he has the backing of people like Bernie Sanders, like Pramila Jayapal, head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. But on the other hand, you're seeing some talk from those in the Midwest about his rural credentials, if you will, having grown up in Nebraska, the way that they believe he can connect with people like those rural exurban voters in some of those so-called Rust Belt critical battleground states, as well as his background as a veteran, somebody who can speak to that community and relate to that group of voters as well. Now, there is some consternation, I think, that you're also seeing on the Republican side, and some of this may be trying to, inject some chatter into the atmosphere there of the idea that Kamala Harris passed over Josh Shapiro, the Pennsylvania governor, popular governor in that state, which is a critical battleground. Pennsylvania is a must-win for either side here coming up in November. And Shapiro outpolls President Biden in that state. He has done well in Pennsylvania. There had been some concern. He is more moderate. There had been some concern on the progressive side about Governor Shapiro. Although, again, he is somebody who is expected to back the Harris ticket and to still be a part of campaigning for Harris. But when you look at those two states, Minnesota hasn't gone red since 1972. That state has backed a Democrat in the presidential election now for decades. It is not considered a quote-unquote traditional swing state, although you sort of always see Republicans the last couple of cycles say maybe they'll try to play there. You saw former President Trump there just recently as well. So Tim Walz now the pick, as NBC News is reporting. We expect to see both him and the vice president later on tonight in Philly, Lester, for what is a critical moment in this campaign.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.